Okay, synchronicity with the order flow. But let's get into the order flow, okay? So for example, what does it take? If the last price, so here, I just wanted to make this distinction between speculators and hedgers. Hedgers, when they put an order in the market, they don't want to make the price move. In other words, if I'm this generator, this manufacturer of generators, and I need to lock in the price of copper, to lock in my profit margin, when I put my hundreds of copper orders in the market, I don't want there to create such an imbalance in the order flow to cause the price of copper to go up, because I'm increasing my average price. What I want to do is do it in a way that doesn't create price movement, so that I maintain, I maintain my average price, or maintain a good average price. Because what happens is this, is that what you have is that for us as speculators to make money, there's only two ways to make money. That's it. Everyone's trying to do the same thing. Everyone has to buy low and sell high, or sell high and buy low. There's no other way to do it. There's absolutely no other way to do it. And as speculators, typical screen-based speculators, we don't have the, let's say in many cases, or in any case really, not many, where we don't have the financial or the psychological resources to actually move the price ourselves. Whereas you have to understand that there are plenty of traders out there who do. There are a lot of hedge fund managers and big traders who can, under a lot of different circumstances, actually create price movement purposefully. They purposefully look for situations with what I call like the herd masters, okay, where they're looking for patterns. They're looking for chart patterns where they know that a lot of what they call weak longs, you've heard these words, weak longs and weak shorts, have gone into the market, and what they want to do is they want to force the weak longs out so they can get into their position at a lower price, or they want to force the weak shorts out so they can sell at a higher price. And they will look at chart patterns where they know that the typical speculator has gone into the market. They'll hit the market with huge orders, force the price lower or higher, cause the typical speculator to panic, cause them to panic, which creates further movement in the direction against the speculator. But what they need is inventory, and I'll explain how this works. Okay? So, for example, buy low, sell high, buy low. If the last price was 9, how does it get to 10? Yeah, more buy. In other words, look at it this way. If you look at it from the exchange perspective, before there are electronic exchanges, you have executable orders. And for every buy order, there has to be a sell order, or you can't execute a trade. On electronic exchange, it's the same way. There has to be somebody on the other side of your trade. Whether it's a computer program that was designed by a major brokerage firm like Goldman Sachs or whatever, or an actual individual, it doesn't make any difference. There is somebody on the other side of your trade. In every circumstance, in every single circumstance. Which means that if you buy at 9 and the price goes to 10 or 11, who's ever on the other side of your trade is losing money. The money that you're gaining is the money that's coming directly out of their account through the clearing firm into your account. And when the market goes against us, the money that's flowing out of our account going into the clearing firm and going directly into the account who's on the other side of the trade. So what this means is that if the last price was 9, how it gets to 10 is that there were no executable. In other words, I have a certain number of buy orders flowing into the pit at 10. There has to be an executable sell order to match up with every buy order. If you're not getting this, let me know. There has to be an executable sell order to match up with every buy order for the price to go anywhere. If there is an even amount of buys flowing into the exchange at any particular moment, with the number of sells as there are buys, the price will go nowhere. You with me on this? If there's an even number of buys and an even number of sells, executable buys and sells at this price, the price goes nowhere. It doesn't go up to 10 until there aren't enough sell orders at 9 to fill the number of buy orders for the people who want to buy, or the number of contracts or shares or whatever available on the buy side. And then the electronic exchange, what it'll do is it'll move the price up to 10 to find sell orders, to find executable sell orders. And if there aren't enough executable sell orders to match the buy inventory flowing into the pit, then it'll move it up to 11. When we're dealing with physical exchanges, people actually did this. In other words, what you had are actual traders in the exchange, in the pits, or whatever, who would actually bid the price up. In other words, if they couldn't find any other traders in the pit who they could execute a trade at 9 at, they'd bid it up to 10 or bid it up to 11 to find someone who would sell. Because the whole idea is sell high, buy low, sell high. So the higher the price goes, the theory would be the more attractive it would be for someone to come into the pit and take the other side of my trade. Are you guys with me on this? So what it all boils down to is that price movement is still with me. So you do understand the concept that it's simply an imbalance in order flow, right? Everybody with me on this? If there's more buy orders, so why did the market go up today? More buy orders and sell orders. Why did the market go down today? More sell orders and buy orders. Now, the reason why there were more buy orders and sell orders, how do we know why? In other words, every one of us in the room has a reason. Everyone contributes to the order flow, which means that everyone contributes to the up and the down ticks. Every order contributes to the up and the down ticks. So why did the market tick up? Well, basically the reasons exist in the minds of everyone who put on a trade that contributed to the imbalance between the buys and the sells in that moment. And since the exchange, when we put a buy order or sell order in, since you are not required to attach your reason for you are not required to attach your reason for doing it. What? That's how the what? Give the reason. Yeah, right. Yeah, since we are not required to attach our reasons, and neither is anybody else, then we don't know why other people are doing it. And what's interesting is that as typical screen-based traders, we are strictly dependent on what other traders do after we get into a trade. Since we don't have the financial or emotional resources to be able to move the market ourselves, I'll talk more about that in a little bit, since we do not have these resources, then we are strictly dependent on what other traders decide to do after we get into a trade. And the reality is, we don't have the slightest idea what they're going to do or why they're going to do it. In other words, orders are going to flow into the exchange after we get into a position. We don't know what the volume we don't know what the imbalance is going to be. In other words, there could be a huge order that hits the market in our favor, but there happens to be a huge buy order. We just got in. There's a huge buy order that hits the market a few minutes after we get into a trade, but there's enough sell order inventory in that moment to absorb all that buy volume. Price goes nowhere. 5 minutes later, that buy order could create a panic, and the market could shoot right up like this. Why did it happen? Because for whatever reason, whoever put the order in, however many traders did it, and for whatever reason they do it, we'll never know unless we have a way, unless the exchange, the reality is, if the exchange gave us the names and the accounts and the names of all the people who contributed to the order flow in any given moment, so that we could go ask these people why they put their orders in the market, then we would know why the price went up or why the price went down. Then we would know the real reasons. Everything else that you hear or read is basically shit that people are making up, and I'm not kidding. And I'm really serious about that. It's stuff that people are making up because they don't know. People don't get on TV or write articles and do it in a way where they don't sound like they know what they're doing, or not gonna do it in a way where they don't sound intelligent, or that they know what they're talking about. So even if they don't come right out and say directly, this is why or that's why, they're implying that they know. Which gives us the idea that somehow or another it can be known. And there are exceptions. Because if you do know large fund managers and traders who can move the market and they do put in huge orders, and you happen to know that these huge orders hit the exchange, and there wasn't enough inventory on the other side to absorb those orders, and that's the reason why the market went up. If you know that directly, then you know why it happened. And certainly the guys or the people that put those orders in, they know why it happened because they're the ones who did it. For the typical screen-based trader, this information is, for all intents and purposes, unknowable. So the implications are that regardless of how sophisticated your analysis is, regardless of how good you think it isn't telling you the reasons why. Even if, for example, let's say we're trading a support and resistance pattern, okay, or we're trading, we're trading a retracement, okay. So what we have here, and I put a buy order in right here, and the market shoots up. Is it possible that the reason why other traders came into the market and created an imbalance in the order flow is because they happen to put orders right in there too? Yeah, it's very possible. It may even be likely. Is there any way that I know that? No, I don't know, do I? It's unknowable to me. And if you think that what I'm saying isn't correct, all you've got to do is challenge somebody. Every time you hear somebody say, my price went up because of this, other than an imbalance in buy and sell orders, every time you hear somebody give you a reason, say, prove it. Prove how you know that. Where's the information that you have access to that tells you that that's the actual reason why? Tweet the people on CNBC. Tell them to prove it. Say, prove it. I guarantee you they'll shut up. Because they can't.